Jó estét, hölgyeim és uraim! That was wonderful Hungarian. And for those, would you please put up your hand if you do not understand Hungarian?
Bocsánat, azok, akik nem értik az angol nyelvet, légy szíves, rakd a kezedet.
Welcome to an amazing night. On behalf of the organising committee, József Szalai, Hoppá, János Tóth, Károly Varga Sr., Charles Varga Jr., Joe Hegedus, Joe Kish and Mike Langell Mishi, who's holidaying in Hungary and who says hello to you tonight. Welcome, we wish you a wonderful night. And there's a Rame Rasic, Jack Riley, Jimmy Rooney, Jimmy Milosevic, all from the 1974 Socceroos team. Nadai and Peter Kurta. Big round of applause for them. And then we've got a whole bunch of former players here. Gers Opechanski, Don Elvers, Duncan Cummings, Billy Rogers, Paul Brunotsky, Mickey Manson, John Bird, Steve Wilde, Tony Sturpin, Joe Sobor, Steve Flaskane, Danny Ward, to name a few. Big round of applause for the former players. Later we have coaches here, Lou Santo, Bill Ellison, Ken Contra, and supporters and friends, welcome. As Steve said, I am Charles Koves and I am your entertainment tonight. I'm your Master of Ceremonies. Én vagyok a műsorvezető, én vagyok a főnök. Now, this is important. You know this is important. That's why you came tonight. But why? I just want to remind you of this because tonight is a night to honour 50 years ago the vision of some Hungarians, of some non-Hungarians. You say, why should we celebrate this? Because this club, after 30 years, got absorbed into other places and does now not exist. And the answer is, anniversaries are important just because, for the same reason that celebrating your birthday is important. Your birthday is important, and we need to remember the contribution that was made. Anniversaries and celebrations of anniversaries commemorate what is good, what is worthy, what is noble, what is desirable, and what of passion, of commitment, of mateship, barátság. And you start to look at the contribution of the people that we're going to honour tonight, and you say, why did people do that? What was the vision? And we honour their contribution to the Hungarian community, to Australia. You think about, and anniversaries like this help you remember the importance of love, of community, of gratitude. You know, you are in this room because this club means something. You say, hey, I should be grateful for what this club did. It's for human longing to be part of a group. And it helps to define being Hungarian in Australia. It also helps to define who you are as a person. And tonight, as we go through, I'm going to give you an idea of the program. You know, there's not going to be a lot of talk. I say to you, what are you going to do tomorrow, next month, next year, particularly those of you who are younger than 50, into the future? It would be magnificent from tonight if 50 years down the track, when I'm 105, someone says, I was at that 50th anniversary and this night inspired me to start something. Because that's what started this 50 years ago. Just imagine 1957. Now, would all those who were not alive in 1957 please stand up? We're going to create the net. Come on, no liars, please. All those who were not alive in 1957, please stand up. Okay, a round of applause for the youngsters because they're going to create the future. 5 minutes before we start. And I want to remind you, on your tables there are some sheets we want you to fill in. And you have to put them into the green manila folder. So every person on our table, would you please hold up the green manila folder? The person there is, hold it up. There's the green folder. That's where you're going to put this information in. We need this information. We are going to supply the history of the... Now, the first decade rising. In 1956, Jozef Andri met with Vic Manson and reflected on the idea of forming a soccer club for the Hungarian refugees arriving in Australia as they left their home country behind, very far from their own. To you, Vic Manson, who is here tonight, we owe much gratitude and appreciation for your thought, effort and leadership to take this step and along with Jozef Andri form the Melbourne Hungarian Soccer Club. Alistair Scott is... Stand up, Vic. He needs a hand. We're going to have dinner, so I'll be quick so you can eat. But then I will shut up, and there'll be the second decade. Marshall de Geeftizel, I'll call Apichu Eshagi from Magena County. Then we'll have some singers, some announcements, desserts, and Hungarian dancing, and Mojonet Dansok. And the third decade, a Harmonik Geeftizel, raffles, door prizes, dancing, mixing, kissing. So we're going to close at midnight, but we could put the watches back if you're having a good time. So that's the program. Now, Manson, Vic, you look a bit older now, I'm sorry to say. The committee was Jozef Andri, Victor Manson, Ferenc Agárdi, Csizmadia Pál, who died in October last year, Les Farkas, Gyula Marton, Agitidi Mácsás, István Mihelyi, Gyula Szabó, Béla Szepesi and László Szilárdi. Would all of those, other than you, Vic, would all of those who are here, would they please stand up? Agárdi Fadi, you're here. You stand up, where are you? Somewhere you are. There's a number of them here. Big round of applause, that was the original committee. So, these guys started this club, and in the first decade, they joined the Metropolitan South Division, Division 2, and they won the championship. Why? Because they're a bunch of Hungarians. As you can see, and therefore, they moved into Division 1. And if you look at the next, if you're actually the players, yes, we had some players there. We had Madaras Zoli, who was the Madaras Zoli was the Edzur. Urban Andri Jozef was the elnök, Bíró Vas, Bukkos, Várnai, Vörös, Szalai, Vic Manson, you were the secretary then, you were the tit card. Very strange name, isn't it, for a secretary. Zsolnai, Csárdas, Petchanski and Kutoshi. There you are. So that was the first team. And then in the second year, 1958, they moved into Division 1 in Metropolitan Division, and they came fourth. And they had some new team members, Csárdas, Várnai, Vörös and Bukkos. So they came fourth out of 18 games. They won 11 and lost 6 with 1 draw. Not a bad result. Metropolitan Division 1. Guess what? Melbourne came. Numero uno. They won. And in the Doherty Cup, they were the quarter-finalists, and the third year of the organisation of this club came third. The players were similar. Vosh Bela got his picture up here on the right-hand side. And the teams that were in Division 1 then were Richmond, South Melbourne, Yallourn, Brighton, Dandenong, South Yarra, Paran, Park Rangers and Vic Police. The coach in that year, can we see? It was interesting now in soccer how the nationalities have been taken away. I'll tell you a funny story about water polo. In 1960, the juniors started, as if you Shagaukas that, and they were the runners-up in their first year when they were playing at Elwood. Now, 1960, were there any players in 1960, would they please stand up in that first junior team? Is that anyone here? There's one. There you are. That was only 47 years ago. Woohoo! You still look terrific. So, in 1960, the third year, in Victoria's State League, so the first year in Victoria's State League, the team came third. The players were, Petchansky was the edzard, was the coach, Borsch, Zuckerman, Juhas, Berchi, Agri, Verish, Weinberg, Gross, Vosch, Weider, Solai, Gassett, and the president of the club was Andrew Kovac Andras. And it was in that year that Borsch Fatty died, wasn't it? At the age of 33. Very sad. So coming third with 26 points behind George Cross and Polonia. And I just want to bring to your attention who the clubs were then. Wilhelmina was Dutch, JUST, Yugoslavia, Slavia, Hakoa was Czech, Juventus, Italian, Moreland, Box Hill were all from the hospital, Preston and Footscray. So 1960, third place, not bad. 1961, we went from third place to eighth. Now that was some achievement. Think about that. Why did we come eighth? We will interview Vic on that later. In the team, it says this, in 1961, there you are. What does that mean? The reserves don't... Actually, yes, the reserves won the premiership. But the first came in 8th position. The winner that year was Polonia. Melbourne came 8th with 21 points. And by the way, in this whole game of relegation, it was the bottom team that got relegated. So the game was avoid being last. Okay, 1961, and then we had the juniors. In 1961, we had one Victorian under-18 Victorian representative. Who was that? Who was it? Joe. Was that you? There they are. We had 3 representatives in the Victorian team in 1961. The Obonyi Cholard is there on that photo, in those 3. 1961. Okay, then we moved to 1962. We're making good progress. We're halfway through. Just think, dinner is, by the way, dinner is almost ready for you. 1962, we came 9th and the juniors came, the Frank Porsche Memorial Cup winners team. So the juniors won the championship. 1963, once again we came 9th. Jim Malloy discovered this picture of the Hungarian team, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, great photo. And the names of them are here. Jimmy Gutter. Who else? Who was the coach? Good photo. 1963, the juniors. My first game in State League. Who was this? Joe Abonyi. Was his first game in 1963 with the juniors. In State League. 1964. Once again we came 9th. We're fantastic at 8th and 9th, at this stage. The winner that year was South Melbourne Hellas. The Greeks, of course. Who was George Cross? George Cross was the Maltese, and JUST I've already told you about. In the team were Elliott, Radovanov, Kemp, Shanks, Regal, Scott, Alistair, was that you? Arbonyi, McCann, Fowler, Myers and McKagan. At the bottom here, here's the committee. Kun Endre, Sobor Gyula, Kovac András, Molnár Gyula, Arbonyi József, Agardi Ferenc, Csizmadi Apál, Kovac András and Marton Gyula was the committee at that time. Okay, 1964 juniors, there they are, having a great time at Elwood. 1965, we had a new president, Agni Gyula. Is he here tonight? Agni Gyula. Now, why he's famous is because my older brother went out with his daughter, Anita. We came 10th that year. And whose first game was this? Once again, my first senior game, Melbourne Juventus, we came 10th. Clearstina came last in the juniors. Joe Arbonyi was in the juniors. Here the juniors. Biro Gyula, Kurta, Barna, Stacey, Schmidt, Mr. Doherty. Who's Mr. Doherty? He's Victorian Soccer Federation bigwig. He was the president of the Victorian Soccer Federation. Kartsog, Surma, Bihari, Kostaglis, Arboni, Attila Arboni, and Lahita. That was the 65 juniors. In 1966, the team came fourth. Jim Adam was the coach. The winner was South Melbourne Hellas, and Melbourne Cooper Prize was Attila Arboni. Surma was second, and McGowan and Kemp were equal fourth. So it was quite a good team, starting to get exciting in 1966. In the juniors, there's a photo of the juniors in 66, they were still playing. Hang on, 66. Okay, that was the first decade. Now, before we do that, before we have your dinner, get excited. I would like, and we're going to do this for the 3 decades that we're honouring, wait on, don't get excited. Would anybody, any person, I think they're all blokes actually, weren't they? 1957 to 1966, please stand up. Any person who assume you stand. Come on, stand up. Agandi Fatty, stand up. Anyone who was on the committee in those first 10 years. Round of applause, please stand up in those first 10 years. Ken, stand up, you and later. Any coaches? Thank you. And any... Thank you for your first 10 years. Please take a seat and enjoy your dinner and Hungarian dancing. I'll see.
Az első földőben 0-0, fél időben és 6 gólt elmondás. Nem, mert én akkor backet játszottam, halfot játszottam. Szóval minden esetben hozzásegítettem, hogy ez a csapat 2 vagy 3 héttel játszott ellenünk csak egy friendly meccs. És kikaptunk 3-2-re. És ők biztosak voltak, hogy az Olympic Parkban fognak nyerni. És adőben, és a másik félben 6 gólt. És meg ilyen nagy izében a gólarányon nem nyertünk sehol sem.
Anna TV Melbourne-ben játszott ifikkel. Ja. A Alinak a fiatalabb testvére.
Hogy vagyunk? Hogy vagyunk?
Ismered ezt a pasast?
Alig változat, olyan fiatalnak néz ki.
egyszer kérem a hölgyek, uraim, légy szíves, üljetek le.
We're going to do two dances for your entertainment. This is to give you a chance to stop talking so you can enjoy the visual experience. And then doing two dances, the Dunan Duli and the Bodrog Kuzi dance, one after the other. Please welcome with passion the dance group.
Modern a régi szeretőben, Múzsek még ma este.
Paying attention, so Steve, in 19, some of you weren't here at the start of the presentation. I saw you at the end of the first decade. Some of you came late. I know that. And you missed the first 10 years, but the first 10 years, like in life, it takes time to get good. And this Melbourne, Hungary soccer team took some years to get going, and finally, in the second decade, it was 10 years of work. It led to 1967. And in 1967, this team that we're celebrating tonight came first in the Victorian State League. Big round of applause. The team won 16 games, drew 2 and lost 4, kicked 47 goals for and 16 goals against with 34 points, and Juventus came second. And I'll tell you about the Australia Cup, but winning the Victorian Championship was amazing. And in that team, the players I will introduce to you in a moment, Tommy Gregor played 100 games, and the coach in that year was Bill Walsh, who has now passed on to heaven, into soccer heaven. The team, as you can see up on the wall, and the cake up there, the 1967 celebratory cake, was made by, who can remember, Vic? I have caught you, see, that was part of the deal. So Bill Walsh did a magnificent job for the team. And then, as the winner of the State League, he qualified for the Australia Cup. And lo and behold, we won the Australia Cup. And here was the team. Alistair Scott was the captain. Will you please stand up? There's a photo there of Alistair. Also in the team was Henry Shurma, Tom Fowler, Ian Shanks, Frank Stoffels, Colin Myers, Bela Dejerfi, Attila Oboni, Tony Griggle, Tommy Gerard, Bill McGowan, Peter Gurta, Bobby Connell. A sensational bottle of wine labelled Melbourne Hungary Soccer Club 50th Reunion, 16 June 2007. There's 2 words for 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You might need a translator here. Any translators here? Anyway, I think it's fitting for me to say thank you to Joe Hegedouche, Joe Kish, Charlie Varga, Charlie Varga Senior, and all the people, Joe Saleh, that put all the work into this evening tonight. It's a wonderful show, and I just hope we can do this more often. Come on, Joe. Come on, Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe.
Club in appreciation of his successful leadership from his champion club. So, Alistair, you should hold this for the photos. And Alistair, I think you should introduce your team by name.
Thanks, Carl. Atulu Abonye, who scored the winning goal in the Australian Cup in 1967. We beat Apia 4-3 at Olympic Park. He scored the winning goal. Atulu Abonye. Peter Kurta, right winger. I can't say much more about Peter. I try to teach him a few things, but I struggled. I was never a winger. Henry Surma, goalkeeper. Extraordinary. Tommy Fowler, fullback. We don't recognise him anymore. He used to be the good-looking one. But Billy McGowan, the other fullback. Yeah, Les Toth, the gear steward. Yeah, he's down there somewhere.
I'll have to ask for the non-speaking Hungarians just to forgive me for 1 minute, but I think it's my duty as a Hungarian to say a few words to my good old friend for the Hungarian community. Kedves magyar barátaim!
Bravo!
Nem is tudom elmondani szavakba, hogy milyen boldog vagyok, hogy itt lehetek ilyen sok barátok között. Sajnos az évek elmentek, de soha nem fogom elfelejteni a 9 évet, amit játszottam a Melbourne csapatban. De ahogy van egy régi mondás, az első szerelmet soha nem fogom elfelejteni. Nem lány volt, hanem fotballabda volt. Azért, mert 13 éves koromban jöttem a Hungáriához, 1960-ban, tehát nekem 47 évet tudok visszagondolni a sok szép emlékekre, és a szép barátokra, és ezt soha nem fogom elfelejteni, akár volt a Ausztrál válogatott, akár volt a Budapest, a Melbourne Hungária mindig a szívembe fog maradni, és mindenkit szeretek. Köszönöm szépen!
Photo in the bottom right corner is Zoli Charkey. Where's Zoli Charkey? Please stand up. He was a goalkeeper extraordinaire. Where are you, Zoli? This country, he scored a goal against China. And he started as a junior player. Duncan Cummings, would you please stand up? Where are you? Wave your hand. Duncan, there he is. Congratulations. In 1969, once again became ninth. And in that year, Steve Blaskane Christoph arrived from Hungary. That was their first city. Bill Rogers and Ray Pocock. And they're shown in this photo here on the right-hand side. In fact, it's Bill Rogers who's doing the header. Now what we're going to be doing towards the end of the night, the end of the third, Garbord Hotfunny was still the coach. Then we moved to 1970. And 1970 was an important year. We went from 2 years of coming ninth to second. And in that year, we had a very special coach, Rally Rasic. Where are you, Rally? Please stand up. Come on, keep standing so we can see you. Rally, we snaffled him. He came here from Sydney. Actually, no. The team from ninth to second. It was an amazing experience. And then Rally went on to coach the Socceroos to the first time that we'd been in the World Cup. So it was a great contribution that he had made to the team. From this photo, who else is by Ken Contra Copain. Where are you, Ken? Please stand up, Ken. There he is. And then we also had the juniors there. Now the juniors in 1970, once again, the coach was Buttash George Buttash. Duncan Cummings, who we've honoured before, he was nominated as Junior Player of the Year, and that was quite good thinking because he represented Australia. And the article here, the Melbourne Under-12s, in that season they won the premiership and they scored 100 goals for and no goals against. It was an amazing achievement. Okay. 1971 Victorian State League, we came fourth. Ken Contra was the coach. Charlie Audrey was the spectacular goalkeeper. Where are you, Charlie Audrey? Where are you, Charlie? There he is. Stand up, come on. You're a spectacular goalkeeper. In that team we had we had a bunch of new players. Fabian Juhas, Joe Pocock and Steve Blaskane. Well, Steve Blaskane had been there. And with Ken as the coach, fourth place was a good result. 1971, the juniors. If you have a look at this photo, the juniors put on a parade. 1972. As you can see in that photo, if you can see it on the right-hand corner, it's Alistair Scott doing an amazing header, and Ray Pocock is behind him. In the photo, the team photo, Ken Conser is the coach, and we came third in that year as a great achievement. And in the juniors in that year, 1972, George Butdash was the coach, and the juniors continued to develop with a terrific development program that provided great players to the seniors. 1973, in the Victorian State League, the team came fifth and won the Ampol Cup. The Ampol Cup was the pre-season competition. The players were Charlie Audrey, David Fern, Charlie Kelly, and I'm Charlie Kovash, Joe Sobel, Alistair Scott, Ian Shanks, George Kotorides, Joe Parlinkash. Johnny goals were scored by McCarthy, the 13th minute, Bentley, the 74, and Steve Blascone after extra time, 118, at the 118 minute mark. The Ampol Cup winners in 1973. Would those players please stand up? 1973 players. Alistair, stand up, Steve. 1973 juniors. We had a stack of players in the 1973 juniors. Bill Ellison was the coach of the Victorian state team and coached many of our juniors, coached many years for the club, and his son Colin also played for the Victorian under-13 team. So with the 1973 juniors, please stand up. Who played? Bill Ellison. And the junior players, please, 1973 junior players, where are you? Well done. Then we move on to 1974. So we won't do any writing. In the juniors, I notice on this photo of the juniors that Joe Kish, who's standing up here, is lying down. They said he was a good goalkeeper, but you know, who reckons Joe is a good goalkeeper? Nah, bullshit. Sorry, Bicococco, I should say. Okay, 1975. By the way, Joe's done a great job as part of the organising committee for tonight's night. 1975 Victorian State League, we came 8th. Who can... Sorry. We got... Everybody, shh. Now, here's what you do here. In memory of 1975, you have to go, oh. Everyone together. Oh. We got relegated after how many years, Alistair, can you remember? We went into State League in about 1960, and we were in State League till 1975, 15 years. So, who was the coach in that year? Who can remember? No one can remember. That was a bad year. Kubik Jula was the coach, and other than that, who was here in the 1975 junior team? Please stand up. 1975 juniors. There's a photo here of Joe Haggadush, who's also on the organising committee. Where are you, Joe? There's Joe. Top right photo, Joe Sobel and Bill Ellison as the coach. And that team, as you can see, we came 8th out of 11 teams. And then the juniors, we haven't got many photos of the juniors, 1975. And that's the end of that decade. But thank you for, and also a DVD of tonight. $10 for 3 DVDs.
annyit mondhatok, hogy kettőt szeretnék, nem tudom. De bocsáss meg tényleg, van egy hibám, másért a szívem régóta már. És csak annyit mondhatok, hogy kettőt szeretnék, annyit mondhatok, hogy kettőt szeretnék, nem tudom. És még csak annyit mondhatok, hogy kettőt szeretnék, nem tudom. Na mulatom! Köszönjük szépen, szerintem.
Nagyon kérni kell.
Hol kezdjem? Melyikkel kezdjem? A magyar fiatal fociról, vagy a Melbourne Hungária fociról, vagy ami azóta történt.
Ott van az a tapai fiú, 14 éves Victoria Boyne. Ő mostan a South Melbourne Helensnek játszik. Még mindig van valaki, aki még mindig játszik, nem?
Vagy máskor beszélünk, mert ezt nem tudom elmondani.
És a vízipóló meccsen ott volt?
Máskor beszélünk.
Whoever. Good. The next year we were promoted. We went up to Division 1 and we came 5th. Look at that. And that's right, Mike Lynn was the coach, and you were going to tell me who the players were. Ernie Toth, Danny Ward with the pop, Mark Dagnall, John Bird, Luann Costa, Theodos will do. And then we were promoted. Who are these pictures here? Billy McGowan is in the middle here. With Charlie. Good. 1985 Victoria Metropolitan League Division 1. Once again, we're first champions and Victorian League Cup winners. Everybody go, wow. Big round of applause, 1985. Now, the players at the back who are members of this team are John Bird, Harris, Gary. We've been relegated and we came bottom. And the club in Now, the good thing, this is a very good thing about the club being sold to Yarraville, because had we not been sold, you would have had to listen to me for another 2 decades. But fortunately, the story ends and it comes to this summary of the history. So on this, and by the way, if you want the DVD of what's been shown up here and the DVD of tonight, you get 3 DVDs for $10. If you order at the merchandise table, buy your polo shirts, t-shirts, key rings, But this whole 3 DVDs for $10 will be posted to you when it's all done. So, this is an amazing history. Now, I've got a very special treat for you. Would all the players, all the coaches, everybody who was ever a coach or a committee member of this club, we need you up on the stage here, please. Yes. Of all ages, junior.
Nyújts ki a nyakat, Karcsi, ott fent, come on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to get these photos, but we need 3 cheers for these amazing group of players. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! The players of the Melbourne Hungarian Soccer Club, this will be at the 100th anniversary, this photo. I hope you're all there. And last shots, that's it. Wrap it up, off the stage. Come on, that's your moment of glory. That's it. Thank you to Puma for the balls. Big round of applause for Puma. Okay, last thought. Shh. At the start of the night, I reminded you of the impact that Vic Manson, Josef Andri, and those who started this club 50 years ago, the impact they have had on your lives. What's going to happen for the next 50 years? For those of you who are under 50 years of age, I commend that thought to you. You look at what the youth of Hungary did with the water polo championships back 50 years ago. We thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting this event. Please fill in these polos, t-shirts. Thank you for coming. You now have 1.5 hours of entertainment. Drink as much as you like, dance as much as you like. You don't have to listen to me anymore. Good night. Jó éjszakát. Köszönjük szépen. Mulassatok sokat.
Nagyon szeretem, gyere visszagyógyulnak a fájnos üzemet. Egy jobb szeretőt akarsz keresni, jobb szeretőt akarsz keresni. Ne menj el maradni, picike babám. Nagyon szeretem, gyere visszagyógyulnak a fájnos üzemet. Pedig én tégedet nagyon szeretem, gyere visszagyógyulnak a jár a szájad. Rögtön a gyomor voltájad. Az idő már elszalad, minden asszony szép marad. Csak aki beszegszik, egyedül a mérges asszony öregszik. Az idő már elszalad, így beszegszik, egyedül a mérges asszony öregszik. Maradjon, csak maradjon, végességben adad. Egyedül a mérges asszony öregszik. Az idő már elszalad, minden asszony szív
segített.
Mikor a szívem dolgok, érted hullak könnyen.
Mindenki élvezi.
Well, you're not a soccer player on legs, you can do a header.
I'm not a soccer player.
Hey. Whoa!
Okay, you've got that.
That's it.
Addig elbasztuk a szöveget, hogy tovább idiótál.
Hallok jó emberek, anyámmal léptem esetek.
Jaj, de kár! Most jó elbaltáztuk, ugye? Szilárd, a forma szereszi, ne figyelj! Lelőttem!
Hajrá magyarok! Hajrá magyarok!
Egyike! Szép vagy, gyönyörű vagy Magyarország! Olyan, mint a nagy világ!
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got another announcement to make. We'll have the store with the memorabilia of
Happy birthday to you!
Hazaszállok, hazaszép a fűfalon irány. A szó hegedű, egy gyönyörű, szép ország.
Nem a Salamon!
A barnáért is bekaphassam.
Hallod ezt, Tibi?
Ma extra. Mit mondod? Mondj csak, hogy mit mondod.
Everyone's leaving. Good night.
Laci, merre far onnan?